Eitan Shalom here. I am here this morning making my lunch ahead of time, and I am making one of my favorite dishes, linguine with broccoli. This is a very simple dish that I first had at an Italian restaurant in Chicago, a very old Italian restaurant. I believe they were Sicilian, but I'm not positive. I suspect this is a Southern Italian dish, but I don't know. If you're watching this and you know, please comment. The ingredients are rather simple. Fresh crushed garlic, and yes, you have to use fresh crushed garlic. You must. It takes, you know how long it took me to crush that? About 30 seconds maximum. The fastest way to crush garlic is you cut, let's see if I can do this with one hand. You cut the ends off like that. So just cut, I can't do it with one hand. You cut each end off, and then you cut that way a little bit, and then the peel will come right off. The key is to cut the ends off, just like with an onion. The peel will come right off. Take the flat end of your knife, and then like that, and then hit it with your fist of the other hand, and it'll crush like that. It'll crush like that. And then if you want, you can chop it up more, or you could crush it more, or you could then don't even do that. Just peel it and then put it in a garlic press like that. Because the health benefits of garlic are dramatically reduced if you're not using fresh garlic. Okay, so that's number one. Broccoli. I'm using organic broccoli. Why? Because we know that from science that organic fruits and vegetables have much higher levels of vitamin and minerals. Not only that, you are not poisoning yourself with pesticides, and you are not contributing to the pollution of the water supply and earth with pesticides when you buy organic vegetables. Broccoli. You don't have to spend $1 million on superfoods and expensive supplements at the health food store. Broccoli and cabbage, for that matter, are superfoods. I don't have to say much about it, but they are super high, not only in fiber, easy digestible fiber, but in antioxidants and vitamins and minerals. So broccoli, eat your broccoli and cabbage. Obviously, there are some people that get too much gas from broccoli and cabbage. There are ways to make it that will help eliminate the gas using Indian spices and also pureeing it. But I'll talk about that another time. So linguine with broccoli. It's a simple dish. Olive oil, and use an olive oil that takes a high heat, like the olive oil that I talked about in yesterday's video, which I can't remember what it was about, but Hoji Blanca. Hoji Blanca is the olive oil that I know of. It's an olive from southern Spain that tolerates higher heat for sauteing. So, ingredients: olive oil, garlic, broccoli, and you'll notice I've chopped the stems separately. I could even chop those smaller if I wanted to, because I'm going to cook those a little bit first because they take a little longer. Linguine. I've already cooked the linguine, and I have finely chopped more parsley than I need because I'm a big fan of parsley. If you weren't the fan of parsley that I am, I would use half of that amount. So you can see this is a small amount of linguine that I've made. I didn't make a large amount because it's so delicious. I don't want to eat more of it. I make like a one portion amount as a way of having portion control. And so there's your linguine with broccoli. And again, that's about a tablespoon of chopped diced broccoli. I've diced it fairly finely. And you could certainly use less. Did I say broccoli? I meant parsley. It's about a tablespoon of chopped parsley. It's a small head of broccoli. It's that much garlic, which looks to me like also a tablespoon. And then a little bit of black pepper because I like black pepper. And then when I used to have this at the Italian restaurant, they would come to the table. They would cook the broccoli and linguine with olive oil and garlic. It would come to the table and some parsley on top. It would come to the table like that, and then they would, grate Parmesan cheese right onto it. I have already pre-grated Parmesan cheese, and I'm going to use about that much, which is also looks like about 1.5 tablespoons, which is more than you need. And I love Romano cheese. I like strong flavors, so there's a smaller amount of Romano cheese. Okay, so here's the method. I'm going to close the window. Here's my pan. I'm going to add my olive oil. Uh-oh, we're low on olive oil. I just added 1.5 tablespoons, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, but that's not enough. This is a high olive oil dish, high amount rather. So there's a little more olive oil. And now I might need to turn on the light. Let's try that. I don't know if that's going to make it better or worse. Better, although it'll create a shadow. And I'm going to add the stalks of the olive oil first, just to cook them a little bit more. I mean, the broccoli in this dish is going to be al dente, so I'm going to cook the stalks first just to get them a little bit going. And here's my lid. I'm going to cover it to make it cook faster. I'm going to lower the heat a bit. I always feel like a real chef when I hate that sound, that noise. That's why I prefer to stir with a spoon. Okay. See, it's already turning a little bit brighter green. You want to cook it faster, cut the pieces smaller, but I like when you have this dish, I like to have chunks of broccoli to chew on. It slows you down. And make sure you chew on your broccoli. It says in Chinese medicine, one of the bases of health is good digestion. So a lot of people I know have these great diets, but they gobble down their food, and they eat when they're working, and they're stressed out when they eat. They don't sit down and take the time to enjoy their meal. How are you going to have good digestion? In fact, I have a good friend like that who always has bad digestion, and to be honest, I don't even like eating with him because of the way he eats. He gobbles down his food, and I don't know. You have to relax when you eat and have fun. Go to Italy, and you'll see how people relax when they eat, or India for that matter. In India, if you go to a government office at lunchtime, it doesn't matter what your emergency is. They take their 1-hour lunch, and they eat their lunch, and then they relax. Some of them take a nap at their desk with their head down, and you just wait, and you don't get frustrated or angry unless you're a foreigner, because that's just how things are. People respect mealtime. Okay, so the broccoli stalks are a little bit cooked. Now I'm going to add the broccoli flowerets, and I'm going to cook them. Now, about the garlic. One way I could have cooked the garlic, that flowerette should be smaller. One way I could have cooked the garlic is I could have run the oil on a very high heat and then added the garlic and then sauteed it a lot for 60 seconds or 45 seconds until the color changes a little bit. And then added the broccoli afterwards, but that's just one way. Another way, which is what I'm doing now, is I'm going to cook the broccoli a little bit. See how nicely the broccoli the color is turning? It's getting that beautiful green color. So it needs a little bit more oil. Southern Italian food is oily, but it's good oil, number one, and number two, you're eating a large amount of vegetables. And from the Ayurvedic perspective, if you're a Vata type, which is the type that tends to get gas from vegetables, if you cook them with oil, the oil has a balancing effect, because the problem is with a Vata dosha type is you have dryness in your gut. And a vegetable like broccoli, just by itself, without cooking, is a bitter, astringent, slightly sweet, dry vegetable. Dry food. It's a dry food. It's not like eating, well, anyway, it's a dry food. So you cook it with oil and you make it, and it's very light. So for Vata dosha, you cook it with oil and you're making it a little bit heavy, and you're adding an ingredient that soothes your intestines. The problem with people that have a lot of gas from whatever they eat is that they're and these are the same people that tend to get irritable bowel syndrome. Well, what's that word? Irritable bowel syndrome. When you're irritable, you need to be soothed. And the way that we soothe in Ayurveda, one of the ways, obviously meditation, but in the terms of food, we soothe with oil. We do oil massage, and we also introduce oil to the gut, and it has a soothing effect. So try this recipe. If you're the kind of person that can't eat garlic without getting gas, it might be that you're having it in salad, or that you're just having it plain, and you're just, whatever. So try this recipe. Now I'm going to add the garlic, and sorry, I could have crushed this garlic a bit more, I admit it. Ooh, that's a lot of garlic. So again, I like strong flavors. I probably am using more garlic than some people will want, and that's okay. Let 1,000 flowers bloom. So now I've added the garlic, and I am going to add a little bit of salt. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, but there's a lot of salt. Sorry, pardon me. There's a lot of salt in the cheese, so you don't really need much salt. I'm just going to add a little bit of salt. I did not, and I do not cook my linguini with salt. I'm going to add the pepper. I'm going to put the pepper on top of the parsley, because with my background in Indian cooking, I like to cook the pepper a little bit. It won't be cooked much, just at the end, as opposed to adding it at the table. So now, that's smelling really beautiful. I can smell the garlic in the whole room, and it's nicely cooked like that. I could have cooked this at a little bit of a lower heat. Doesn't matter. I'm going to add a little bit of water now, just about a teaspoon or two, just to soften the broccoli a little bit, and to make sure the garlic is cooked enough, because I added the garlic a little bit late, because I was doing this with one hand while talking. So, yes. And now you have a little bit more of a, it's kind of like a little bit of a sauce there. And now I'm going to, so that's cooked. That's as cooked as it needs to be. So it's bright green in color. It's cooked, but it's still, like al dente. And now the pasta's been cooked already, but it's cold. So I'm going to add the pasta and parsley to the pan. I'm actually just going to turn the heat off now, because the pan's hot enough. And I'm going to stir that up a bit. This is hard to do with one hand, and I did buy a tripod and can't get it to focus the right direction, so I'm using my hand. And now I'm going to add the cheese. I'm going to add the cheese and just let that cheese melt in there a little bit. And the pepper's already there. And there's one more thing. If you wanted to, you could add some lemon to this at the table. I don't normally. I'm happy without lemon, but if you want to, you certainly can. So let's see how this looks if I put it in a pasta bowl. I don't know if I can do this with one hand, but well, that's more than you would fit in a pasta bowl. I'm trying to see how it looks at the table, and so you can see, pardon my fingers, you'd be surprised what people back in the kitchen of your restaurant do with your food. That's why I don't eat out that much. All right, there we sort of go. There is your, we need some natural light. Oh, the light is miserable. That's better. There is your linguine with pasta. There's your linguine with broccoli. Chicago Italian restaurant style. I can tell you what street it was on, but I don't remember the name. Boy, I wish I had better light. Let me turn that light off and see if it's better with just natural light. Nope. Well, that's going to have to do. But you can see. Sorry, I'm a bit obsessive. There we go. Okay. There we go. Broccoli with linguine. Linguine with broccoli and garlic. That's a lovely dish. And so, it seemed when I was cooking that it was a lot of oil, but if you look at this pasta, it's not particularly oily at all. Look at the bottom of the pan. There's not a lot of oil left in the pan. So that was really the right amount of oil to make a dish lots of Italians would have a lot more oil than that. The oil would be dripping at the bottom of the bowl and the pan. Well, thank you for tuning in. If you like this video or recipe, please click the like button, subscribe to my page, and make some comments if you have anything constructive to say. Thank you so much. This is Eitan Shalom at the Body Mind Wellness Center in San Diego. I have to oil on my fingers, so I have to put this down like that to shut it off.